right first time. Excellent, thank you. Cheer up. Lovely, thank you very much indeed.
When I say change direction, a gentle running action to turn you around to face the other way. Keep going. Do you all understand? Change direction. Good. You didn't all understand, did you?
For a large portion of the course, they've never seen this before. You imagine a 30, up to like 35, if you like, year-old individual coming into this, and they've been a plasterer or a plumber. You know, it'd be horrendous for them. Something completely different. They're having to say, sir, to people. They may have never said sir in their life.
Good. Good. You will be a team. 16 weeks, you will be a team. 3. Stop! Face me! I'm on the spot.
And you can see the faces, you know, thinking, what have I done? They're questioning themselves for quite some time.
Ready? Go! Go! Get it on! Come on! Come on! That's good. Keep going. Keep going. Stop! Round. Come on. Good faces. Nice face. What's your name? Well, great face.
It's not easy. It's having time to do everything, I think, the problem is. It's definitely not easy. Especially when you can't find out what the hell's going on.
I mean, it is a disciplined service. So you've got to be able to take the discipline or you shouldn't be in it. Whether, I think I can take it at the moment, but we'll see further down the line if I actually like the job. But I think I will.
The parades are important, everything we do is important. The point of it is that we're the uniform organisation, and I think the public expect people in uniform to be smart, and that's quite right too. But what we're trying to get over to the recruits is that it doesn't matter what they're doing, whether it's pushing a pair of shoes, whether it's operating a pump, everything they do, they've got to do to their absolute best ability. So it's getting a way of life over to them as much as anything. Steaming.
Crew firefighter, Duggan, sir.
Front rank, stand at, ace.
Right, Duggan, you need to dress your cap a bit. It looks like it's come straight out of the box. You've also got a bit of loose cotton on your peak cap, get that trimmed off. Your sleeves, okay, we've got the creases in the right place, but they're nowhere near sharp enough. More pressure with the eye, both sides. Same with your trousers, shoes nowhere up to scratch, Duggan. Get it sorted for tomorrow morning.
Sir.
Recruit firefighter Burke, sir.
Can you put your arms in a bit, Burke? Stick them out to the side like that better. Okay, I'm not too sure what you're doing, but you look almost deformed. Just relax a bit. Not impressed. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30. Creases in your jacket, virtually non-existent. All your kit, tomorrow morning, 8:30, my office.
Sir.
Next week, no let-up on parade, when a late arrival's heavily punished. And the recruits are put through their paces on the first major hose drill.
Good lad! Mr. Stebbing, have you lost your hose?
Farming's a surprisingly dangerous business with few second chances. You're a long way from help on most farms, and if the worst does happen, you're usually on your own. Last year, 65 people died in farm accidents involving machinery, bad falls, even animals. Many others are lucky to be alive, but none more so than Andy Duncan. Andy farms at Firefighter in Scotland and can often go all day without seeing anybody. So when he suffered a really appalling accident and his survival hung in the balance, he knew that the only person who could save his life was himself. In our reconstruction, Andy's played by an actor, but all the others take part as themselves.
We've been farming at Fordmouth for nearly 25 years. We have our own farm, but most of our work is agricultural contracting for other farmers. Been married 32 years, and he's been a lovely father to the 2 boys, and that's all I can say about him. He's just really a lovely man.
It was a good morning, good just for 4th of February. I went to bail flocks around about 8 o'clock, just the same as I always did. I just said cheerio to my wife and went away.
We just did what we usually do in the morning. We fed the chickens, fed the animals. He said when he went away that he thought the job would take most of the day, and I didn't expect him home maybe until about early evening.
Farming is very dangerous with the machinery and that what you have now. When you're on your own, you have to pay attention that you don't get yourself into trouble.
You always think accidents do happen, but they happen to somebody else. They never happen to you.
I was around about 3.5 to 4 miles away from home. I would be about halfway through. The needles wasn't working right for putting on the string on the baler. I went up and had to adjust the needles for it to go in. Well, I've done that job for about 10 years, maybe 12 years. For safety, now, you shouldn't wear Wellington boots at a job like that. And another thing, maybe you think you're saving 5 minutes' time, you should always shut off the machine. I went up and down that step all these times, and I've never slipped off it. I slipped off the step. No matter how hard I pulled, it pulled my father in. If I hadn't kept on pushing, it would have stuck me right in. You could see my foot getting chopped up, but I still didn't have any pain. Where the strength came from, I don't know. I pushed with my legs and my arm. And I went out like a cork out in a bottle. It took me a second or two to realise I'd lost the bottom half of my leg. Tried to get the cab door, I got up. And fell, but was still making for the cab door. I managed to grab a hold of the steps and pull myself up. I just had to stay calm and do the best I could. I was desperate to get home. I knew if I got home, I would get help. I was worried, but I wasn't excited. I knew if I got too excited, I wouldn't maybe get home. Grabbed the steering wheel and hovered in. Next door neighbour was a doctor, so she would be able to help.
Andy was losing a lot of blood, and he was 20 minutes away from home.
I passed 2 or 3 houses, but I thought if I went up in the state I was, and people could have fainted. The sight of me. When I stalled up, it was quite hard. I did look down and there was a good lot of blood going backwards and forwards on the floor. And I thought I didn't have much more inside me but what was lying there. My brain was working double time to know what I was going to do. Well, I remembered about 43 years ago when I was working on a farm, we had this student doctor that came out to give a hand in the harvest time. This student had told me about a tourniquet. So that's when I realised I had to get a tourniquet on fast. Unless I wasn't going to make home, we'll have to look for a bit of string. I thought I would give it a try the first time I ever needed one. There was a spanner, so I tightened the string with the spanner and got the tractor started and got going up around the bend. I said to myself, well, if I meet somebody I knew, I'll stop there. I met a couple of cars, but didn't know them, just drew into the side. But I went around the bend, and here was a Land Rover coming up. And here was a farmer I knew.
He come around this corner, and then I saw him, like, waving. And I actually initially thought he was waving me forward. And I couldn't understand, because I knew there wasn't any room to pass. So I just drove the Land Rover back up to see him.
I was crying. And he came up and says, "What's wrong with you today, Andy?" I said, "I've lost my damn leg."
Look, Bill, I've lost my leg. Can you
I
get
asked him
help?
if he felt any pain, and he said no. I couldn't hardly believe it. He must have just blocked it out of his mind. It'd be quite difficult to drive a tractor and baler over a narrow road like that, even with both legs, and compared to what he was suffering at that time, it was very, very difficult to do. I had to think about either getting him to the hospital or I would have to phone. I decided that would be the best, because I thought that would only take minutes.
When Bill left me, I could see the farm. I wasn't far from home. So I said to myself, there's no chance I'm staying here. I'm making for home. So I went down the way, up onto the main road. It was pure desperation to get home.
We've had an emergency. There's a farmer who's lost his leg in a farm accident with a baler.
After I was down the farm road, I took the horn to get my wife to come. I just put my hand on the horn and kept blasting until my wife came up.
Well, I didn't know what was happening. The only thing I was thinking was, please don't wake Helen's baby.
Don't wake the baby!
I've lost my leg.
Andy, for God's sake, stay there.
That's the first time in my life I've ever seen anything so horrible and had to face up to getting help. And the first thing that went through my mind was phone for the ambulance immediately. And then I remembered Helen, our next door neighbour, was at home. She is a doctor.
Helen!
At the time, I was actually on maternity leave. My son Sandy had been born about 6 weeks previously.
What's wrong? Andy's lost his leg. Can you come quickly?
I'll be round in a minute. I'll just get my bag.
Oh, can you come quickly?
I took my medical bag, which I just happened to have at home because I was clearing it out ready for going back to work, and rushed round to the farm.
Oh, no. Can you get out of the tractor, Andy?
I really couldn't help him because the cab's quite high up.
I said to myself, well, you got in there yourself, so you'll have to get out. So I did the best I could and came out.
I'd only been working as a GP for about 4 months, so it was quite a shock, really, to see something so unusual so soon in my general practice career. On the farm, the conditions are very different to what you have available in hospital. I'd done a trauma training course, but it's really aimed at people in casualty that have lots of equipment and nice clean rooms to work in, which we certainly didn't have. Andy had lost about 5 pints of blood, and the average person has about 8 pints of blood, so you can imagine he was pretty low.
To do what he did, put a tourniquet on his leg and drive home, I just don't know where he got the strength to do it.
Is that quite comfortable on you? Okay. Oh, Helen, what's been happening?
This is Andy Duncan. He's severed his leg in the baler. He's lost quite a lot of blood.
Dr. MacDonald arrived. That's Andy's own GP, who happened to be on call at the time, thankfully. It was nice to have a bit of moral support and someone else to help out with the situation.
Try and put a drip in the other side.
Okay.
It was important to keep his blood pressure up and to give him fluids in order to make sure that his kidneys were getting a good blood supply.
So we dragging you
The
on?
paramedics are here, they know what they're doing. I need to have a word with you about just what's happened here. Is that okay? You just come with me just now.
He kept saying to me, I think we'll go inside the house, Mrs. Duncan. You're needing a cup of tea. But I think it was him that was more needed a cup of tea than me. I don't think he'd ever seen anything like it before. Okay. Once the policeman had finished asking me questions about what had happened, I went back out of the house and I discovered the ambulance had gone. Because at that stage I didn't know how he was, what sort of a state he was in, even if he was still alive.
Because Andy had lost so much blood, the ambulance crew had to radio ahead for another ambulance to meet them with extra plasma supplies.
Fine, okay.
How's this recording stage?
Not too bad, Doctor. We've got a pulse of 85 and his SpO2 is actually 95, so that's not too bad, Doctor.
It wasn't until later, after I'd seen him in the hospital, I began to feel, gosh, that's happened. He's had a terrible accident, but thank goodness he's okay. He's going to be okay.
Andy spent 8 weeks in the hospital, where doctors were able to save his knee. He's since retired from farming.
That's the first time I've been in hospital since the National Health. Now it's up to about 9 months now. I can drive the car and I can drive a tractor too, like but the kneecap gets sore. Not say I'm doing everything, but I can walk about pretty well.
Andy made an incredibly quick recovery, both physically and psychologically. I think that's a great credit to him. Obviously, I have only admiration for him. I think he really saved himself on the day. I think it's tremendous what he did. I think that's quite incredible that he managed to remember something so far back and actually apply that knowledge.
I was right to see the doctor that saved my life about 43 years ago. And if he's still on the go, let me know, and I'd be very grateful to see him for saving my life.
And if you are that doctor, or think you know who he is, we'd be delighted to hear from you, so we can put you in touch with Andy Duncan. Next week, bath time terror, as a baby's life is on the line.
Control here, so let me help you.
And buried alive, the race to save a labourer buried under tons of concrete.
Within 5 to 10 minutes, it has started to set.
To reserve your place on the Blackpool Roadshow on the 2nd or 3rd of May, call us now on 0891 339 999. And to obtain a copy of the 999 Family Safety Video, send a cheque for £9.99 to BBC Education, P.O. Box 7, London W12 8UD. More details on our CFAX page and website.